The Quick Snap is presented by FWF, dependable solutions for the pros since 1866.
All right, welcome to episode 12 of the Quick Snap podcast here on a Victory Tuesday, but it seems like the game was about a week ago, which it was Thursday night. We were there in person, loved the rivalry uniforms, loved the vibes coming out of the stands, the crowd. It was incredible. A night game back in Gillette with a winning team. What were your first initial thoughts being there in the stands, seeing, now here they were going 9-2. I felt like the fans were locked in. Danny Healy was losing his mind.
Yeah, Danny, what's with you posting your personal stories on the Quick Snap podcast?
No, I just bring the juice for the fans. I was there loud and proud Thursday night. We were a little lubed up, took the party bus in, and we were getting after it. So, I was just all things. The fingers were flying on the social media.
I don't know about you, but the first thing I noticed, what the hell is on your face, Hoy?
Oh, these are blue light blockers. I'm starting to get a lot of headaches.
Blue light, though, is for like a computer screen.
I'm looking at you on a computer screen directly across from me, even though you're in the control room.
That computer screen's like 15 feet away. Right, David? It's like 15
I can't with this guy.
I got a little,
he thinks he looks good.
Yeah, and then I was going to bring up his mustache, too. When I walked in.
Come on,
When I walked in, I walked in and I was like,
something was off.
What's going on? Like, he's got glasses on. He's got a mustache. He's kind of
girl. I saw Vrabel out there last Thursday, and I thought he looked good with the mustache.
Danny, how much Just for Men did he put in that thing?
No,
yeah, that's not
I have
all
a few
natural.
grays down here.
I did. I'm not going to lie. I tried to grow a mustache in college, and I put Just for Men in it to make it up. Yeah, all right, but
football now.
Yeah, football now. We had to get that
yes,
out of
football.
There. I like the uniforms.
I loved them.
The
people who want to say they look like the Colts are absolutely out of their mind. It looks nothing like the Colts. I played for the Colts. It's not even close.
I didn't feel like it looked like the Colts. I don't know. I liked them. I thought it was different. They look good. Good, I don't know, Hoy. I think Thursday night games to me, it's just not. I don't know. It's not great football. You want to get in the game. You want to see your team do well. But, it's one of those where it's like, let's just get out of here with a win and move on.
Yeah, that's what you said last week. You said, look, don't expect a blowout, right? Even though...
I mean, they did cover.
Yeah, but I think...
They covered by more?
I don't know. Danny's our betting expert.
They covered by half.
They covered.
It was 12.5.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
But I actually thought of you as I was driving away from the stadium. You said it look, all you want to do is go in, play good football, and walk away with a win on a Thursday night game. And people will say, the Jets aren't any good, blah, blah, blah. Thursday night game is hard to prepare for. People aren't fully recovered. I think we got to start by talking about, once again, defense gives up a touchdown on the first drive. And ultimately, the thing that I thought when that was happening was I'm glad they got a little experience with the mobile quarterback in that game and walked away with a win, because they're going to have to be ready for Lamar Jackson when they play the Baltimore Ravens. And so you knew that Fields was going to have a hard time throwing the ball, but to allow him to scramble and get some of those plays and then cap it off with that zone read for a touchdown, I think that kind of is like a wake-up call. Okay, we haven't played a mobile quarterback like this in a while. We're going to get the best one in a few weeks. It's good to have that on film. It's a good learning experience to have.
Yeah, that was kind of my takeaway from the game defensively was I'm kind of done talking about the opening drive touchdown because they play well. They're top 10 defense. So, if that happens, they're going to score eventually. To me, I don't see a difference whether it's the first drive or the second drive of the game, honestly.
Yeah.
You're going to score. So
it was just a weird feeling. I don't know where you were sitting. I was in the box with Trish in the Zudi box. And it was kind of like, you're like, all right, the team's good. You're back at home. You just get a 3 and out. And each scramble he had, it was like, really? We're going to let this.
That was my takeaway was he hurt them with his legs, which I think is good to see before, obviously, Josh Allen is not the same as Lamar, but he poses a lot of the similar problems. Different style, but similar problems. So you got those two guys coming down the tracks here. So, and really, this, when you're playing a scramble quarterback, your rush discipline has to be so good. And there was one I noticed Chase on was on the defensive right side, the offensive left side. Justin kind of half rolled right, not a play action, just in the pocket, went right. Chase on went all the way around that way to chase him. He double backed it completely.
That was the one. It was the third down, and Mapu was actually spying him. But so he goes to spy him right, like you just said. Now all of a sudden Fields escapes left, and Fields is fast. Like he just couldn't catch up to him, so he converts the third down. But I think, look.
That's the same on the zone read. Like Landry was there. Like he did a good job. Justin Fields just faster. So that's good to see going into these next few games.
It's great to. You're not going to get live reps of that in practice. No one's going to be able to. We've been in practice where they put back a running back, a defensive back. I remember years ago. They'd put one of the defensive backs or an extra wide receiver to simulate that on the scout team. But until you get in the game and it's happening live, it's hard to see. So I think it's a good prep for a few weeks from now when they play Baltimore. But overall, the other touchdown was a fluke. Woodson just fell down, and that was the other touchdown they scored. So defense did a tremendous job. But then, flip it over to the offense, and man, what else can you say? It's like another great performance and so many good plays by Drake Maye that highlight to me how comfortable and competent he's running these plays. I mean, the plays that you and I used to run, and his subtle movements in the pocket. There was the one, he gets it to Mac Hollins. It was an empty protection, steps up, slides right, eyes down the field, hits Mac Hollins. There was the play action crosser. He hits to Stephon Diggs, an old play we used to run, fake the gap run, hard play action, step up, move to the right, slide, hit Diggs. And he was this close from his first 300-yard game. He threw that bomb to Mac Hollins.
Which,
beautiful throw.
Let's just say, Mac Hollins was going to catch that.
Yeah.
That was a heck of a play by that DB. And that's one of those where you just you give the guy a hat off, to make that kind of play. One thing I will say about Drake and how he played, which I thought was great, I thought the offensive line did a great job protecting.
I wrote in my notes too.
And obviously Quentin Williams was not there, but they still have two very good edge guys. Will McDonald, I think he's the fourth. Is technically his name. I think he's like top 10 in sacks.
He had 4 the week before we played him.
So I think he's number 8 in sacks. It wasn't just, I don't know, I hate the Jag saying just a guy, but these are good players. And I thought the one sack on the game, I wanted to talk to you about, because I don't know if you saw it. They went to a dime in front, right? So diamond means it's 5 down. Depending on what protection you are, that determines how you're going to block it, right? There's different ways you can handle it. A lot of times you give the running back the off-the-ball linebacker with how you declare it. But what happened on that play is defenses will create these 5 down fronts a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's a linebacker on the front side, back side. Sometimes it is actually 5 known rushers. Yep. That one, they had put Quincy Williams, who's a traditionally off-the-ball linebacker, right? They put him down as the defensive end, kicked the defensive end to the 3-tech. So, they just didn't get it declared, right, the communication. Now, so Will Campbell actually goes down on the 3 technique instead of blocking Quincy Williams. So, that to me, communication, Dante used to always say there's the giving part of communication, but there's also the receiving part. So, they got to do a better job of that. But overall, I thought the O-line played really good. I had said on pregame, obviously, we've been in a lot of 12 personnel, right, with
Hoop and
Hunter. Yeah. Hoop's out, obviously. Concussion, don't know, maybe this week, doubt it. It's usually like a 2-week thing now with how the protocol is. I had mentioned on pregame, that was going to be a big challenge. Josh loves using 2 tight ends. That's been a staple for him. You got 2 good ones. Why wouldn't you do it?
Yep.
I expected them to use a big 6 O-lineman. They did Ben Brown. I thought Ben Brown played great out there. TreVeyon Henderson's, I believe it was his 2nd touchdown.
Okay.
Did a great. That was the one.
Not the flip, the other one.
Not the flip. The one Big Mike pulled and killed the guy.
Yeah.
Ben Brown was blocking down and he wiped the whole left side out and created that hole. I think Ben Brown did a great job, and it's one of those things where, look, even if we get Hoop back, Josh took notes of that, and Josh saw that.
And I think what needs to be noted here, we talk about Thursday night games. You lose Hooper to a concussion. You've been in 12 personnel a lot. The ability to say, okay, Ben Brown, you're actually going to play the other tight end position because we don't have hoop. We need to still run 12 personnel or even, some 21 personnel with Westover. Like the ability to do that in a matter of 3 days shows you, one, obviously we all know what Josh is capable of, but what the players are capable of being adaptable. I think that's the biggest thing that I want to emphasize, having played in basically every system. What Josh's probably biggest strength is adaptability. And I always tell people this story, and you may or may not remember this, but when we played the Rams in the Super Bowl in 2018, you have 2 weeks to prepare for the game. Wade Phillips was the D coordinator. We had a very good beat on what he was going to do. We get to the game, the hay's in the barn, you've already set up the game plan. They have completely changed their defensive scheme because they knew if they came to the game with what they had done that we would probably nail it and have a beat on it. So we go through the game, we're sticking with the game plan, but we're having to make some adjustments. Finally, Josh pulls the offense up and says, look, if we want to win this game, fellas, we have to basically create a new package of plays, a new game plan that we're going to implement on this drive. And the ability and the...
But do you remember why?
Yeah, because they wouldn't match personnel.
What were they matching?
They were matching the running back.
Yes.
So if we put Rex or if we put...
Sony.
No, if we put Rex or James in the game, they would not put base defense in the game. But if you put Sony in the game with the tight ends, they would. So we basically went to 13 personnel because we had Sony, Devlin, Dwayne Allen, Gronk, and Edelman. Julian's the only receiver on the field, and we put that personnel out there with a package that we had not practiced the entire 2 weeks leading up, really the entire year, and that drive was when you hit Julian a few times, and then the infamous, we just saw Rob at his his signing one day, hit Gronk on the seam, but I always look back at that moment and think, how many offensive coordinators would have the balls to basically scratch everything that you've worked on for 2 weeks in the biggest game of the year and say, look, fellas, if we want to win, we have to implement this scheme. And then for the players to have the confidence and the knowledge to be able to go out and execute it. You guys at the offensive line position.
Didn't affect us that much.
But still, the way that the defense was going to play was going to change, and no one batted an eyelash. And so I think that's where you see...
Hell, we wanted them to be in some.
That's right.
But get some help to Aaron Donald instead of 5 man.
The willingness and the ability to adapt, I think, is so crucial, especially when we get to this part of the season. Yeah. And I know we'll talk about football season starts after Thanksgiving, especially when you're 9-2. And I think that's why having Josh, obviously with the development of Drake Maye, but also developing and coming up with the offensive scheme and then calling the games, that's like having the ace up your sleeve because you know that he'll be able to develop the plan, implement the plan, and then change it if need be. Yeah,
and, one other person I think I want to give, a flowers to right now, got to be Mac Hollins.
Love him.
I was talking to one of my buddies on Sunday, and he was driving back. He'd gone to the Georgia game, so he's calling me. He's driving back to Tennessee, and we're talking about the Patriots and stuff. And he played small-time college football. He never played in the league, but he knows football pretty well. And he literally, I had watched the game Sunday morning super early, and he called me, and so we're talking, and I wrote down on my notes stuff about Mac Hollins, just stuff I had noticed about and how important I thought he was. Dude, my buddy's like, I think Mac Hollins is, the biggest signing for this team.
Could be.
And not saying that in the sense of Diggs and what he's done, but my buddy was like, I was watching the game. There's one that Diggs looks like his hip was messed up. Mac's right there picking him up, getting him up off the field. He's like, who knows? Diggs might have laid there a minute. He's like, I just think Mac brings a lot of toughness to that room. And I was like, that's so interesting. I don't know. It made me feel good because I had noticed it and wanting more and more noticing him, I guess.
I think when they signed him, and a little bit of backstory, I met Mac. We did the Harvard Business School program through the Players Association together back in 2020. So that's where I initially met him. And then fast forward to 2023, I go out to Vegas, and he had just left. But he was in Vegas with Josh in Josh's first season. And the guys out there absolutely love this. Yeah. The stories they would tell. I mean, you know how hot it gets in Vegas, and this dude doesn't want to wear shoes. He's basically burning it. They had to beg him to try to protect his feet because the asphalt's 140 degrees. But the guys absolutely loved him. And so when the Patriots signed him this season, I thought, one, what has he always been his entire career? Core special teams player. So he puts the team first. 2, I would say every year he's been a receiver. He's gotten better. And 3, he had been in Josh's system. And the way I looked at him fitting into that system was being a Jacoby Myers type player, like a bigger slot who goes in and does the dirty work in the run game by blocking. And we've seen him do it a bunch of times, go in, drill that safety, right? And the one thing that I've been pleasantly surprised at is his deep ball ability. And I know he didn't come down with that one the other night, but he's had several balls, whether it's hole shots in cover 2.
He had a great catch over the middle that he went up and got.
And he's 6'4", dude. Like the catch radius on this guy is incredible. And Drake, Danny, who's my, trying to teach me how to bet, I was like, what about the taking Mac Hollins 4+ catches? And he's like, he's not a target guy. He's becoming a target guy because Drake believes in him, and Josh is using his abilities as a guy who gets involved in the run game with blocking.
To use him to get open. Yeah, that's the thing. I knew he made some plays, on the receiver thing, but like I just was like, he's going to play special teams and he'll play 10, 12 plays a game. This dude's a starting receiver. Yeah. Like, I don't even know if he is playing special teams anymore. Like,
you're right. I as I said that, I'm thinking to myself, when's the last time I saw him as a gunner? Or
he might. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, really breaking down the special teams, but Mac Hollins, what he's done. There was one play in the game too that I loved. He went in motion across the field, and Hunter's on his side, original side. And he goes by Hunter, hits Hunter on the ass, and I was watching it and I was like, well, there's no communication because they're not blocking together. Sometimes we do that stuff to communicate with one another. I was like, they're just out there having fun, dude. And that's awesome to see.
And I think sometimes this term can be taken the wrong way, but when you hear glue guy, you hit on it, getting digs up, pulling him up right away, super intense attitude. And also the quirkiness of his personality. I think guys just, you can see that, and this trickles down the whole team. That's why I feel so confident about the future of this team this season, is because they got a special bond, and you can see it. You mentioned it, tapping Hunter as he's going by, just being out there with the boys and having fun. It's a special team. There's no doubt about it.
Before we move on here, I do think we got to talk about kind of the one, negative you could say about the game. It's losing Milton Williams to the high ankle sprain.
Yeah, that's tough. You don't want to see a guy, your highest paid player, I think the one thing that people need to see or recognize is the way that interior defensive linemen affect the game doesn't always show up in the stat.
Yeah, I talked about that.
But I think, the effect that he has for the people around him, the linebackers, Spillane, I do Sirius XM radio, and this past week we had Sumer Sports, which is a really good football analytics team. And they do a lot of the analytics-based evaluating, kind of PFF, but in a different way. And they had Robert Spillane as second-team All-Pro linebacker.
Wow.
And I was asking about that, and they kind of brought up, he's playing behind Milton Williams and Barmore. He's making a lot of plays. And so, look, we had Spillane on the show. I think he's a great player, but and they kind of came up with the explanation how they grade players. And Spillane was second-team All-Pro, according to him. Drake Maye was second-team All-Pro quarterback. So, but I think...
Who was first, Stafford?
That's what I thought. It was actually Justin Herbert.
Get out of here.
I know, and I asked, I made a big deal about it, and I said, how do you guys come up with this? And they said, well, we actually take into evaluation, who they're throwing to. When there's interceptions, we take into account, was it a tip ball? I know, I said the same thing. So
the only thing that matters is winning and losing. Right. But, all right, so with Milton Williams, you are right about Spillane and the impact. I mentioned that on Sports Hub the other day. Defensive linemen want sacks, and people want to see sacks. Sacks are awesome. But there's been games I've played where, all right, we only gave up 1 sack, but the quarterback was under duress the whole game. And you could tell, I'm that's almost worse than, giving up 2 or 3 sacks. You give up 2 sacks a game, and he's got a clean pocket the rest of the game. It's whatever.
Yep.
But that, the Patriots, I believe they're maybe 10 in pressure rate. I was looking up some defensive stats the other day. So, they are getting after the quarterback. Sure, maybe some of the sack stats aren't there, but look, you don't know what his status is with the injury. I guess I'm hoping they put him on IR because it's bad, but it's not worse.
Sure.
It's hey, he could be maybe ready to go in 3 weeks. But let's give him 4 weeks. We're making a push here, obviously. Like,
well, how does that line up with the bye too, Danny?
The bye does not count for IR.
Really?
Mm-mm. He has to miss 4 games.
Oh,
not 4 weeks.
He'll miss 5 weeks.
He needs to miss 5 weeks then.
Yeah.
He gets more healthy.
That's what I'm saying.
For the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in my mind,
dude, you just taught me something new. I did not know that was.
It's 4 games. I believe.
Surprised you didn't know that with those glasses on, Hoy.
I know.
Nice.
Dude, when I went on IR, every time that I went on IR, it was for the season.
Let's go.
In my hope is, and this is no facts based, this is literally just me hoping best case scenario. They're looking at it like, hey, he's going to be okay, but let's give him a full 4 weeks with 5 technically with the bye. I think that's the rule. I sure hope it is. I don't know.
Check
that's
that out.
correct, David.
It is correct, right? Yeah.
That's correct.
Thank you. I thought it was.
You better call Jimbo.
I was like, I was about to text Jimbo mid-show and be like, oh, actually, I was wrong. But hopefully trying to get to my point, they're going to hey, he's going to be okay. If we give him 5 weeks here,
right,
he's going to be ready to go versus you're playing this limbo game. He comes back after 3. He gets baked up. Now he's missing the playoffs.
Unfortunately, you're in the position where you pretty much know you're going to be in the playoffs now, so it's better to get him healthy. I think the one thing I think you should explain, I don't know did you ever have a high ankle sprain? I dealt with I was very blessed. I dealt with a lot of my feet. Yeah. I had feet problems. My foot would roll or swell and it would all be in low ankle feet, which still stinks. But with high ankles, any position, right, with high ankles, I will say this, O linemen, D linemen are naturally tougher, I believe, sometimes. Than skill guys. But what I like to say about that is all right, if you say skill guys, right, are like a race car. Right. You get one bolt on a race car that goes wrong, the whole thing's gone to hell. You get an old farm, an old truck that's got rust and holes in it. It still cranks and it still runs, but you're not going to want that thing to run 100 miles an hour down the highway, For sure. That's how I think it's a great analogy.
Yeah, O-line, it's just an O-line. I've had torn hamstring in play. Yeah. No receiver can play with a torn hamstring. It just is what it is. That's why I was asking you, how important is it for a guy in the trenches where you're pushing off of that ankle? It's very important, and it's one of those things, if he's not ready and he goes out there at this point, in my opinion, and redoes it, that could be his season. Yeah. 3 weeks, that puts you at what, week 15? Yeah. And you roll it again, you could be out of the playoffs. Better to be, because of the position they've put themselves in, you have cautious. The luxury of doing that. Yeah, especially with a guy like that. Let him get as healthy as he can. And I do think the good thing is, I think Farmer's coming off IR this week. Yeah, and then, I've seen this question out there. Sarah, our producer, just put it out to us. Does this mean Tonga plays less on offense? I don't think so. Yeah, I agree with you. Because he's not I would be interested to see his snap counts. It's a very small package. Yeah. It's going to be goal line. Yeah. Maybe short yardage. Short yardage. So that's what, let's say 6 plays a game. Yeah, literally on the call sheet, that's 6 plays. And if they come up, maybe you call 2 of them. Yeah. And I think, obviously, now if you're looking at it, you're all right, Ben Brown did pretty good. Mm-hmm. Who knows if that was something they were all right, we're going to use Ben Brown instead of some Tonga this week. Now Tonga's been playing more fullback. Ben Brown's played more tight end. Yeah. But, it's tough and you hate it. I guess the first report was a couple weeks that I saw. And I was oh, great. Get through Cincinnati, the bye week, hopefully back for the Bills and Ravens. But he's going to miss those. So that's going to be tough. But I don't know. I think Barmore, I thought he played really well the other night. He got after the quarterback well. Get him going. He can still be disruptive. Tonga's been so great in there. Farmer, these younger guys, see them step up. One thing I think it's going to be challenging, I don't know if you've noticed it, but they've kicked Barmore and Milton Williams to defensive end sometimes. Yeah, certain packages. Yeah. And it allows you a couple things. One, it allows 3 big guys out there, helps you in the run game, but it also spells, Landry and Chase on a little bit because then you only have one of those guys out there at times. So, that's obviously going out the window now. But who knows? Maybe they go Tonga, Farmer inside, kick Barb more outside. They can do different things. But, this is part of football season. Guys get banged up, and I trust our coaches to put a very competent game plan and have a good response, just like the offensive coaches did.
Yeah, I saw this last week, and this will obviously change, but it was like a chart of the amount of money each team had on IR. You know who the top two teams with the least money on IR were? Patriots and Rams were the top two teams, I would argue, in the NFL. Patriots and Rams. Now, putting Milton Williams on IR with his cap hit is probably going to be, not that matters anything, but I just was thinking about it.
Baltimore had like $100 million.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, and it just goes to show you, like we always say it, nothing more important than the health of the football team, because if you have the majority of your starters out there, your guys that you're paying, you have a better chance of performing better. It's just the way it goes. So with that, let's transition to our dependable player of the game.
But first, I want to thank our partners at FW Web. On jobs large and small across 16 disciplines, FW Web has the selection, in-stock inventory, expertise, solutions, and people to get the job done right. For more than 150 years, FW Web has been the trusted partner for professionals across the Northeast, delivering what you need, when, and where you need it. Because at FW Web, they believe relationships, trust, and dependable service matter. FW Web, where every customer counts. It's time for the FW Web Dependable Player of the Game. At FW Web, people and relationships come first, and you can always depend on FW Web to find the right products and solutions for your next project. Here's the player the Patriots counted on to bring home the win. None other than the rookie, TreVeyon Henderson, 63 rush yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 31 yards, and a touchdown.
2 weeks in a row for the young buck, right?
Good for him, man. I really love the touchdown, the receiving touchdown, just classic Josh.
That was a James White special.
Yeah.
We ran that with James many times, and they kind of dressed it up a little bit differently, but you're right. I mean,
receiver in the backfield, break the huddle fast. You could see, I was watching it on, I didn't notice it live, but watching the tape, you could see that, like, New York's still communicating when the ball gets snapped. Just classic, great, and I think Drake, like, pumped a little bit, and it brought that corner down a little bit, held that corner, and got it right over him.
No, you hit on the head, and obviously we thought this could be his role when we saw some of the stuff in training camp. Not just the running, but the receiving. And I was texting Danny the other night, like, he's not as smooth and elusive as a Jahmyr Gibbs, but he can be as effective, I think, as Jahmyr Gibbs in a different way because of the pass game. And that design of that play was so well, because who Drake pumped it to was Diggs, right? So you get up there, speed break, right? Break the huddle, Diggs in the backfield, so immediately their antennas go off. They all find him. 3 guys go to Diggs in the flat. They just let TreVeyon, and he did a really good job with patience getting through, because Diggs came from the other side. Cross, he let Diggs go to cross, patience through the line, because that's a big thing, right? When you're releasing someone through the line of scrimmage, you don't want to get hemmed up by the traffic, your own lineman, the defensive lineman, and he slips to the back corner of the pylon. Drake does a tremendous job of looking to Diggs first. Probably is part of his first read, see if they just screw it up. But now 3 guys collapse on Diggs. There's Henderson in the back pylon. Great design by Josh and great execution by the players.
You said a word there I loved, and that was patience, because that's something I've noticed from TreVeyon the last couple of weeks. Like, it just looks like it's slowing down. Patience in the run game, the blitz pickup. There was one in the blitz pickup. They were in, a single mug linebacker off. So, sometimes the center's going to take the first guy. The back's got to read around, and get through the traffic again. And that's hard for a young back. Like, I've had backs in practice put their hands on me, touch me in the back, and it drives me insane. And he did a great job filtering through there, stepped up, nailed the linebacker. So
I do remember hearing Josh with those backs saying, do not touch the lineman in the back. I always heard it and I thought, oh, that makes sense. But now that you and I are doing the show, explain to me, like, why that matters and why that might throw somebody off.
So there's a couple different things depending on where they hit you, right? We're offensive linemen, we're communicating so much even during the play, right? So like if you get a TE and you start feeling it, Like, I used to get so mad at young linemen because I was like, you got to be vocal.
Yeah,
like,
say something.
Yeah, like now.
Yep.
Like, before it's even happening, go, 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 go.
Right.
I'm not just going to drop the guy. But, like, now everything's triggering in my head. I'm hearing that. I know something's coming.
Something's happening.
You know, and so, and that sometimes is body movement and touching, right? Like, if you're, like, let's say they got a shade and a D end and a linebacker, right? Guard's uncovered. You're setting to the right. If that, you've got a big nose guard on you, you're setting, you're punching, you can't see through to the linebacker. So that guard, if he sees that linebacker going across, you got to pass it off.
Right.
That guard, I would expect him to start putting his left hand on me, saying, go, 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 pushing me. And I can feel it. Now I know, all right, I got to drop and go to this linebacker.
I think it's one of the greatest things. Now, it's good and it's bad because, one, you know, usually the center's mic'd up or a guard or something like that. And so, you know, I think it's cool as a fan when, and maybe just from our perspective, because we've been in it, like hearing the communication and you hear, you know, the go calls and all those things, but then the other teams start to listen to it too, and they start to try to study your calls. And Luke Kuechly's talked about that, like pairing the game, like the TV copy with the game film and getting a good beat on all that stuff. But I think it's important for people to understand, like, it's not just the quarterback saying the cadence and their silence. It's like communication before the ball is snapped, after the ball is snapped, and I think, like, you hit it on the head. Like, it's not just sound communication, it's touch.
So
it's
like, if a running back comes up and touches you, you're thinking, like, am I dropping somebody? Who am I dropping here? Like, and then also it just throws off your rhythm. Like, you're trying to go backwards, right? And someone puts their hands on your back. Like, now you're going forward. Like, it throws it off. Like, it's not a good situation. Damian Harris did it to me one time, and I lost it on him. I love Dame, but that was
because he went to Alabama. That's why you lost it on him. If it was a Georgia dog, you'd be, hey, Sony, it's okay.
Yeah, when Sony did it, I'd be like, hey, buddy, it's all right. Just not next time.
Yeah, I mean, getting back to Henderson and his performance, the thing that I love, and you're right, not just patience in the route, but in the run plays, but the explode when he sees it. Yeah, the amount of, you know, explosion into it. Like the first touchdown, they kind of did the fake power pitch back, and there's a guy waiting for him. It's like one cut, boom, and then he was through. And then I love the fact that the team's pushing him in the end zone.
Love that. That was an awesome touchdown. You know, I kind of mentioned this the other day. You remember, like, how Le'Veon Bell used to run?
Yeah, there is a little bit of that.
Like, and it's not, I don't want to see him stop like Le'Veon used to do. But when you said patience, it was just like, yes, great job, Brian. Because that to me is what it is. It's like, he's so fast, you can screw yourself on some of the blockers. Like, you got to wait just a second. And when he does hit it, you know, he can go forward. But, Danny, you had something you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the pass pro earlier and the offensive line playing great, but I don't think the run game is that strong still, even though TreVeyon the last 2 weeks is our dependable player of the game. But we had, I think, 27 carries for 65 yards.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And, look, it is the weak spot of this offense. You can't disagree. You can't. Goodness.
You all right there?
I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah, Alka-Seltzer or something?
I shouldn't eat
that. Danny, get in here, mouth to mouth.
Hold up.
Shouldn't eat that sausage. What was the line from the Bears? The Bears.
The Bears.
No, but it is, to me, that is the weak spot of this offense.
What does the Bears have to do?
It's Chris Farley, Saturday Night Live, when he's choking. He's like,
You're Chris Farley, yes, got it.
Watch a movie, guys. Jeez.
That's not a movie, but
it's just, well, I watched it on a movie because I wasn't old enough when that Saturday night. It's the best of Saturday Night Live movie. But no, I can't even think. The offensive line, yeah, they haven't been great in the run game. They get disconnected at times. The one I will say I was very proud of them. They finished the game on the ground, and I don't think they've done that every time to go finish games this year. It's kind of been like run, and then it's like, oh man, we didn't do anything. Like, they finished the game on the ground, run out the clock. You're going to need that going forward.
Can I just say one thing? And it's not a philosophy that has been a part of Josh's offenses before, but having played in the West Coast system. And I think there's a little bit of shade of some of that stuff now with Drake being on the move, play action passes. And I don't know the number, but I'm thinking of plays in my head off of play action passes, explosives. Sometimes you have to account for those yards in the running game because you earn those plays by having a running game that people respect. And so there was a play action pass to Hunter, a weak side run. You stick it in there. The linebackers in the line of scrimmage. So they're doing enough in the running game that the linebackers and the defenses are respecting it. The other one was, we already talked about the step up by Drake on the gap pass where everybody's up in the line of scrimmage. Now you hit the over to Stephon Diggs. And so right there, that's 40 to 50 yards in play action pass that if you don't get respect by the opposing defense in your running game, you're not going to get those yardage. So I get it.
But
the stats don't say that they're running the ball well, but I think sometimes you have to look outside of the stats and say they're running it enough where they're able to hit some of these play action passes.
Yeah, but do you think that's because they're really threatened by the run, or it's just Josh willingness to keep calling the runs?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like you have
to me, then that doesn't make the run game.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying that it's doing enough to be able to present yourself with more explosive plays. And then you go back 2 weeks, they had explosive runs for touchdowns, 60 yards plus or whatever it was.
I mean, but Danny, the Patriots are a top 10 offense, I believe, but in the 20th in run game or something like that?
Yeah, well, they hadn't let a running back have more than 50 yards until last week with Sean Tucker, and then it happened again this week with Breece Hall.
What are you talking about?
We're asking about the Patriots offense.
Yeah, will you pay attention to the show?
Is a top 2 offense in, I think, scoring and yards.
Yeah, I'll look at that. You're right.
But they're not. I think what David's trying to point out is their running game is not really helping.
The running game, they're like 20th or 17th. I'm sure
having
20th.
20th.
Nailed it, David.
Yeah, thank you. God, I'm freaking smart.
But this is
you are smart.
I'm smart.
David, you and I are former players. We're not stats people.
Yeah.
So sometimes the stats can paint a certain portrait, but I will say, and you would know better than anyone, you hit on it, and I see it too, is not being always together on some of these double teams. And we talked about it earlier in the season, and we thought maybe by now it would get a little bit better. It has gotten better on certain plays.
That's the thing that's kind of like frustrating because I see glimpses of it. Yeah. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then it's just like, it's not consistent right now in the run game, but being connected, like this is a great example I saw in the game. We ran single back power to the right, right? So we would call that a Mike and Sam run. That's who we're calling the linebackers, the Mike and the Sam. And that changes depending on the run, formation, all that, right? But on that type of play, when you're pulling the left guard, the double team, which is on the right side, is going to the Mike. Mm-hmm. The puller is responsible for the Sam. Well, if the Sam runs through the line of scrimmage, the double team is now going to take him, right? Because you don't want to let someone run through the line. So now the puller's job is to get the Mike. So they ran that blitz, and it's a very common blitz you see to stop runs. It pulls people off double teams, all these things. So, Jared Wilson, obviously a rookie. The Sam runs through, he pulls up and tries to block the Sam, but Big Mike's already taken him. TreVeyon reads around. It was a great hole, but now the Mike's free to the play. So it's stuff like that where it's just, you got to do better.
But that goes back to what you said earlier about communication. Yeah. And those are things, as you get more reps and you see things, I guarantee the next time they bring the Sam and Wilson goes to pull, he doesn't try to stop and get the guy who's going through the line of scrimmage. He comes around, and now it's going to be a
big hole.
That's the one thing I would say, and I wrote this down. If they get Henderson past the front 7,
it's over with.
He's either gone or he's going to punish whoever tries to tackle him. He runs over safeties like it's nothing.
I don't know if he is though, Hoy, because they're not going to catch this joke.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The Tampa play, the first touchdown after halftime, that safety had an angle. 9 times out of 10, that wouldn't we say we'd love that run? Yeah, and your back might make a miss, or it might be like he breaks the tackle, but he's not going to score because now he's slowed down, allows guys to catch up. That safety had an angle on this kid, and he left him in the dust. So
no, I mean, look, in the running game, you can only design a run that's going to block 9 guys. Yeah. Because there's one guy handing the ball off and the other guy's getting the football. And so we always said when you were designing runs, the best runs and the best play is when you got that back to one of those unblocked guys, whether it's the corner or the safety. It's one of those 2 guys. And I think now you have a running back. If you get him to the corner or the safety, he's either going to run by him, or if the corner tries to come up, he had a run in this game where he just absolutely lowered the boom and punished a guy. And so I like that combination of speed and power, and I think he'll continue to grow as the offensive line continues to grow.
Yeah, so it is a worrisome for me, and it hasn't gotten. It's gotten better, but it hasn't gotten good consistently. So, they're going to need it. I do appreciate Josh, like you said, though, like Josh's willingness to keep calling him. And, we have to remind ourselves as fans why we are doing it.
Yep.
It is because it sets up these explosive plays.
You mentioned Tom's age at the draft.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Do you think having a 37?
We're on to Cincinnati. It's nothing about the past, nothing about the future. It's right now we're preparing for Cincinnati.
Okay, do you feel like the talent you have here is good?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati.
What is your responsibility?
I'm just asking, do you think you've done enough to help Tom Brady?
We're getting ready for Cincinnati. That's what we're doing.
All right, and there you have it. This week's legendary moment is presented by Miller Lite. Legendary stories start with the light. Here's the 50 years of Miller time. Neither of us were here for this. Where were you, college?
Yeah, I was in Athens. Probably dealing with a hangover Sunday morning. Or when would this been? Monday?
I think this was Monday Night Football.
Monday, yeah.
Was it Monday Night Football? So that was probably, Tuesday?
Yeah.
I wasn't dealing with a hangover. We used to call Tuesday practice Bloody Tuesday at Georgia, so I was probably dealing with the stress from that. But
love it. No, I remember I was in Cleveland this year, and obviously I was 2 years removed of being a Patriot, and they were getting ready to play Cincinnati. That was a team in my division. So I was kind of keeping an eye on this. And classic Bill, like he always told us, you never have to answer a question the way that they want you to answer it. And so he was a mastermind of dealing with it and the resiliency he had to just stay up there and say, we're on to Cincinnati.
I will say this, though. Like, Coach had a classic way of moving on from bad football. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like we had some bad beats, obviously, and I'm not talking about when things got bad. I'm talking about when it was still good. Like, he just had a great way of, like, he always used to tell us, right, like, when things came around in their season, distractions, what were you supposed to do?
Put him in the drawer.
Put that shit in the drawer. Like, that was his famous saying. Like,
put it in the drawer.
And I was like, well, I can't.
I think he included, like, your family.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to fit my wife into the drawer, but I'm trying, and like.
My kids.
Yeah, like. My newborn, maybe I could swaddle him and get him in there.
I'll save this one. Remind me when we do legendary moments when we get to the Christmas episode.
Oh, gosh.
To tell the greatest legendary moment about Christmas.
That's a heck of a line.
So.
But. Yeah, it's such interesting. Like, we weren't on the team, right? I had no idea what my future.
Sure.
You didn't. I doubt you
think
thought
I was coming back.
Yeah, exactly. But, this was the classic, like, Tom Brady's over with, which I did love because then I got to reap all the benefits of all the highlight tapes Tom used to make of people saying that, But they went to Kansas City and got their tails kicked that year.
41-14.
Yep. And that was also like they were losing. They put Jimmy G in. He throws a late touchdown. That was is this it for Tom Brady? Yeah. Are they going to move to Jimmy G? That type of narrative. And the last thing you want to do is light a fire under Tom Brady's ass. I mean,
I reaped the benefits from it. So thank you guys.
I mean, you could argue. And I've seen these graphics. Like Tom Brady had 3 Hall of Fame careers. Like the first 10, the next 8 or whatever, and like the last 7. What did he play? 25 years? I don't know. But you could argue that moment reignited the second half of the Patriots dynasty right then and there. They go on. They absolutely destroy Cincinnati. They came out on fire. And you're right. Coach Belichick had a really good way of, you knew it was going to suck if you had a bad performance, but you went in, you took your medicine, and you moved on. And I think what he just said there, it's not about the past, it's not about the future, it's about what's right now. I think if you can keep that mentality, not just in football, but in life becomes a lot more simple, right?
There's a lot you learn playing football, right, in life. And one is controlling what you can control.
Yep.
Right?
Like the schedule.
Yeah, like the schedule.
We'll get to that.
But, like, last week, you could have controlled it. You went out there, you laid an egg. It is what it is. You can't go back and change what happened in Kansas City or whatever game it may be, whatever happened in your life. Yeah. You can't change those results. But now all you have to focus on is Cincinnati.
Yep.
Or whatever that next obstacle is laying in front of you.
Yeah.
And, you're right. It's a great life lesson. It's a great way to look at it because dwelling on the past isn't going to get you anywhere.
No,
Which is why I think it was such a viral clip, though, is because it can carry over not just in sports, but life in general. And that's why so many people use this analogy.
And even though David and I weren't there, what do you think, like, when we had a bad game, what do you think, like, everybody looked, even the players who weren't there when it happened, all right, we're on to Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
all right,
it was just like,
we're on to Miami.
This.
Whatever it was, it kind of became a motto in that building.
Yeah.
And like you said, Danny, it can carry over to life. And really, the reality, like we just said, is you got to live in the present moment. And the only thing you can do is what you're doing in that moment. You can't worry about the future. You can't worry about the past. You got to focus. So right now, I'm 100% in on recording this podcast. When I leave here, I'm going to go do, Patriots this week with Zolak, and I'm going to give everything I have in that moment. And it's hard. Zolak and Bob Sochi.
No, is Zolak going to be 100%?
Oh, he's fired up always.
Okay.
But he always is like, come on, car's double parked. I got to get out of here. So I love Zoe. But I think the motto is focus on what you're doing now, focus on what you can control. And that really reignited that Patriots
And what you did in the past doesn't matter.
Nope.
It doesn't matter. You learn from it, and try to improve on it. And I think it's great for this football team, right? Like, they've won all these games right now. That's not going to help them win Cincinnati.
Yep.
The only thing that's going to help them win Cincinnati is what they did yesterday. They're taking the day off today, and what they start to do tomorrow. And then what happens on Sunday.
Miller Lite isn't just any light beer. It's the original light beer. And when Miller Lite arrived 50 years ago, time became Miller time. And fun nights became stories worth telling. Miller Lite celebrating 5 decades of legendary moments because legendary stories start with the light.
But let's get into this year's Cincinnati Bengals. Big news.
Hey, you beat them last year.
I did beat them last year, and that was my last win of my career, I think. But big news coming out of Cincinnati this week, Jamar Chase. I don't know if it has that much impact on the game. I mean, obviously it does, but
well, you know what it allows now. Now the
matchups.
Focus goes to and the focus goes to T. Higgins, right? And let me just say this. I think Jamar Chase is the best receiver in the game. You can't spit on people.
What are we doing?
What do we do? We got to spit him. I mean, Jalen Carter, first play of the season, before the first play. Like, you can't, I'd rather have you swing and knock somebody.
But this is my thing. Like, did Jalen Ramsey get thrown out?
He did.
That's assault, brother. If I come back there and spit on you, Danny, you could fight me.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, but you could, in my opinion.
I could try.
And then you shouldn't get charges pressed on you. I should get charges pressed on you. I don't know how the law works. I ain't a lawyer.
Yeah, what would Bill say? Who always gets in trouble?
The second
retaliator, right? And so, if someone spit on me too, I'd be a livid. But
well, in that first game, though, you talk about Jalen Carter. Dak Prescott actually sent the first one.
He kind of gleeked on him, I guess.
He spit toward him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know when this became a thing. Like, that never...
You never got spit on in your entire career, David.
I mean, no, there was a lot of saliva exchange between O-linemen because you're hitting it.
But
that's true, though.
But not intentional.
No, not intentional, but like...
What would you have done if someone just spit in your face?
I probably wouldn't have done anything.
Just black out?
You would grab him by the shoulder pads and give him a little wiggle.
No, I would probably just try to get him to hit me again.
Yeah.
And then get thrown out. But I always tried to walk a fine line, and Shaq would try to calm me down. Shaq was kind of my mediator.
Hoyer,
out there.
Talk to me though about Joe Flacco and his resurgence and what that means to this team.
Well, I mean, you look at Joe Flacco, and obviously this kind of ties back to what people are talking about with Shador right now, right? Like, the Browns signed him to come in, be the veteran guy in that room, stabilize the position. Their season's not going the way they want it. They trade him to a division rival who are looking for somebody to fill in for Burrow, and he comes in and I know he didn't do great this past week, but for being there a few weeks has basically lit the world on fire because he's throwing to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Yoshi Voss and Gesicki. Is it Gesicki or Gesicki?
He's hurt.
You played with him.
He tore his pec a while ago.
But I'm just saying, like, Flacco comes in as a veteran, is able to throw the football and trying to keep the Bengals afloat until Burrow gets back. Now, it sounds like that'll be after Thanksgiving, so the Patriots won't face him. But I think, Danny, what you're asking is like, how is he capable of doing that?
Yeah,
why.
He's been a journeyman. He's continued to be successful, and he's
sitting at hotel bars by himself.
Saying that guy's having the best day of his life. I was like, Flacco, like I've been there before, but you can't say that. Like, what do you think his wife's thinking back home with 4 or 5 kids sitting at home?
That's what I used to do early in my career. I'd hit the Longhorns bar by myself.
I enjoy going to a nice restaurant, pulling up to the bar if I'm traveling or something, and just eating by myself.
It's nice. But Bengals team could be a high. What's the line, Danny? Because this defense hasn't stopped.
And Henderson is injured as well, I believe.
He's like up in the air.
Yeah, so if this is not going to help the schedule narrative when you play the Bengals and they don't have Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, or Trey Henderson, their 3 best players.
Yeah, 3.
But hey, what would we just talk about?
Doesn't matter.
Control what you can control. Yeah. The Patriots aren't deciding who plays for them.
Because this defense hasn't stopped anybody.
No. This may
the line's 8.5, by the way.
What's the over and under?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's loading.
This may be
49.5.
Thanks, Sarah. I heard you back there. At least someone has information.
My app won't load, but
300-yard passing game.
You think?
I mean, I think, Danny, how many weeks in a row have they given up like 30-plus points? Like 4 or 5 weeks in a row?
Who's their DC now? Because they let go.
They let Lou Anarumo go.
And Lou's just killing it.
The guy who used to be the head coach at Temple, Al Golden, went to Miami, Florida.
Lou's killing it in
yeah, he's doing great.
Doing some wild stuff. But should be an interesting game. I don't know what that environment was great last year when we played in it. I don't know what it's going to be like now. Got Teddy K over there. I talked to Ted this morning. That's my guy.
How's he doing? How's he hanging in there?
He's good. So
all-time favorite.
All-time Patriot guy. So should be an interesting game. Look, this is one of these things, and this is kind of not about the Bengals, but it's kind of about the Bengals. Watch football all day Sunday, right? Is there a team in the NFL? Let's break that down. Is there a team in the AFC that scares you?
No.
Yes.
No.
Who?
I think I'm still scared in the playoffs to play Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, or Patrick Mahomes.
They don't. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say about that. I'm not scared of Buffalo when I look at Buffalo. Like, I don't think they're a complete football team. I'm scared of Buffalo because of Josh Allen.
Yeah, 100%. Which version of Josh Allen are you going to get?
Yeah,
I think you're going to get the best in the playoffs.
Well, they beat him. I mean, he played pretty well.
Yeah, I thought he played pretty well in the first game. Like, do you think though, if the Patriots play well, right, play good, and Buffalo plays good, like, does that scare you?
What separates you and me from Danny? He has fear. We don't.
I'm a realist though, but like everyone in media this week, in Boston wants to talk about: would you rather play a playoff game in Denver against the Broncos and Bo Nix, or would you rather play at home against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs?
Home against the
Chiefs.
I disagree.
You've never won a playoff game.
Yeah, so tell me about Denver, because everyone else has never played in Denver. You guys have.
I just would say this:
their defense is unreal.
No, not their defense this year, but like playing in Denver as a player.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look,
David almost died there. So
yeah, when they're
literally,
yeah, but I'm built different.
Still standing. Do you want to tell that story?
No.
Okay.
I hate that story.
Danny, this is my first week back in New England in 2017. I have just met David Andrews that week. I'm taking snaps with him. And the next thing you know, like, he's being, like, I'm like, is he going to survive?
All right, so what happened was we played in Denver, and then we go to the Air Force Academy.
Yeah. Because we were playing in Mexico City the following week, so we stayed out there.
Went to, like, I don't know, another high altitude. So I took in Toradol before the game to, help. And we get to Denver. We had Tuesday off.
Yep.
Or we get to Colorado Springs.
Yep. Monday
we work. I don't feel good, but I never felt good after games, right? Like, I felt terrible. Didn't sleep. We didn't get to the hotel till like midnight.
Yeah.
I go down to Denver. My wife was in Denver. Stay with her and some friends. We go to dinner. My buddy's like, hey, that bed you're sleeping on tonight's kind of soft. Like, your back might hurt. Dude, I pissed like 7 times that night. So weird. And then my back started hurting. I was like, oh, it's this damn bed. I go sleep in another bed. And I got up that morning at like 6:30 to drive back to Colorado Springs. Had the off day. I was getting a massage, going to watch film. And we went to the Olympic training facility.
Yeah.
We get on the bus, James Ferentz. I'm like, James, I feel terrible, man. He's like, the shit's in your head. Stop being like, stop being
difficult.
Stop being a weak person. Yeah. Like, it's all in your head. I was like, dude, I feel terrible. Like, I think I'm gonna throw up. I think I did throw up on the bus. And Tuesday night, I like felt terrible. Went to bed, whatever. Got up, practice Wednesday, full pads.
Yep.
I'm like, my back is killing me. Wednesday night, I will never forget, like, laying in bed. Like when you throw your back out, like you can put like a pillow under something and you kind of get comfortable.
Relief, yeah.
Bro, I couldn't get relief. I texted my wife. I was like, I think my kidneys are failing. I love you. I was like in the shower tub, like trying to get hot water on me.
Giving her a last-second pickup line.
Yeah, I sent her a last-second pickup line. Ended up like going down and like laying in front of the equipment room at like 4:30 in the morning, and they like came down there. I was like, I gotta go to the hospital, like something's wrong. And they take me in the hospital. I texted my wife, like, going to the hospital, and then they thought I had a kidney stone. Turns out, like, basically my kidneys weren't functioning right. I was on diuretics, I was on Indocin, bunch of stuff it's hard on your body. And Bill, the doctors were like, you should be okay. Like, it should correct itself. So Bill told the captains on Friday morning, I wasn't there Friday, told the captains Friday morning, like, David's going to be fine. He's going to play. And they ended up, like, Friday afternoon being like, we got to fly you back to, like, Boston. Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And so they, like, wheel me in. I'm, like, still in a hospital gown. And I was in so much pain, they were giving me Dilaudid, which is like a painkiller.
Yeah.
Dude, it will mess you up. I was taking, like, Dilaudid, and then they gave me oxys for the flight to, like, because I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
This flight to Denver, from Denver to Boston. They flew me from Colorado Springs to Denver to Boston.
Did someone go with you?
Yeah, a doctor went with me. I'm getting wheeled through the airport, and I'm just like... I pass out in first class, right? Wake up like midway through the flight. The doctor's sitting behind me. And I mean, I must have smelled. I hadn't showered in like 2 days.
Oh.
It was bad. I remember like reaching back and getting a pain pill.
Passing out again.
We land in Boston. This like businessman next to me, I don't know if he knew who I was or what. We land and I'm like coming out of this stupor. He's like, tough flight, huh, bud? And I was like, you don't even know. And then ended up going in the hospital, MGA. My wife picked me up and was like, oh my God. Because I'm like, I was so done. And spent the next like 3 or 4 days, pissed my bed at MGH. Then they were like, hey, does he have any rashes on him? And I was supposed to go home. This was like Sunday. I was supposed to go home.
Yeah, we were playing in Mexico.
Yeah, I was supposed to go home, and I wanted to get out of these hospitals so damn bad. Yeah. So I broke out in a rash all over my back. My wife was like, she saw it. She was like, oh, my gosh. She's like, we got to tell them. They asked if you had any rashes. I was like, don't you say a word. We are going home. We'll deal with the rash at home. Yeah. My wife says it to the doctor. They're like, you're staying. Me and my wife, that was probably the longest we've ever been.
She was just looking out for you.
Yeah, I know she is. Like, yes, she is awesome. But that was probably the longest we've ever been in a room together without talking. Because I was so mad. And she was mad at me for being an asshole. Yeah. I was mad at her for actually caring about me, which is how men are. And yeah, and then
David says all of that to say we'd rather play Kansas City at home.
Yeah, well, you told me to tell the story.
So give me Bo Nix over Patrick Mahomes.
I don't disagree with you, but that is a formidable place to play.
Dude, that crowd,
that defense,
the altitude will mess with weather. Like, you're dealing with a lot. And look, maybe that's me. I said, you know, the past doesn't matter, and then just said, you know, we haven't won a playoff game there, so I just contradicted myself. But
it's a new year.
I don't know. Like, I just look around the league. There's not many teams that scare me, Hoy.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a weird year. There's not like a clear cut. This team or two teams is head and shoulders above the rest.
Like, I don't think. I guess in saying that, I don't think the Patriots have to be perfect.
No.
To play any of these teams, they can play good and win these games.
All right, here we go. Here's the standings. We got Denver now in the lead after beating Kansas City. Big game for them out in the West. The Patriots obviously in the East. The Colts at 8-2 in the South, and the Steelers are clinging on.
Barely.
Got that 6-4, but here come the Ravens.
Last.
What's that?
They won't last.
Well, Rodgers is hurt now.
Yeah,
so,
broke, but it's his left wrist.
Yeah,
or
fractured
hand?
left wrist. But from what I've read, it sounds like Mason Rudolph should probably play this week.
Definitely.
We'll have to wait and see.
I think he's playing.
Yeah.
So you take the snap with your left hand?
Yeah. I mean, no. I mean, it doesn't. You'd have to hand off maybe with your right when you're going. It could get tricky, but you never know.
Ferrari versus O lineman.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a tough injury.
Anything that kind of piqued your interest this weekend, Danny, when you were watching the games?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Bills, they looked good against the Bucs, and obviously we were in Tampa Bay last week, and we beat them, but the Bucs come to Buffalo, and, you know, they were there in that game for 3 quarters, but they ended up pulling away. Josh Allen had 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, Garrett had Josh Allen in fantasy this week.
He sent me a text of his roster. Yeah.
And he had Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I was watching this game, and I kind of turned away from it, and then checked back in and was like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
They could have lost that game easily.
Yeah.
The Bills could have lost.
The Bills just, to me, don't seem as sound as a team as they've been in the past, and I get it. They weren't able to.
That's my whole point.
They weren't able to get past the Chiefs, but I always felt like they were a much better team last year and maybe a few years ago than they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, their star receivers not.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying it doesn't have the same feeling as it did last year.
Like, I look around the league, and I'm like,
yep.
There's not, like, the Patriots wouldn't have to play, 2021, right? When we went to Buffalo that night.
Yep.
The playoff game, not the regular season.
Yeah.
We had to play a perfect game to beat Buffalo.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
And granted, it wasn't even close.
And Josh played his ass off that night.
Yeah, and it wasn't even close to even good.
No.
But that was like a game where you're like, if we don't play perfect, it's not going to go well. And I look at the NFL right now, and I'm like, especially the AFC, like, let's take the NFC out of it here because that won't matter until the big one. I did look around, and I'm like, Patriots can play good and hang with any of those teams. Now, they could lay an egg. They could get...
Now, the one thing I would say, they haven't really laid an egg in any game this year.
No, like, there's been spurts of bad football.
Yeah, but not like a complete collapse and total laydown, and I don't see it happening.
I don't see them... I don't think they've played a complete game yet.
No.
You know, where it's like...
The closest one would be Carolina.
Yeah.
Yep.
But... You know, they find ways to win, and they play good games.
I mean, the wild thing is if you could just take 2 turnovers away in that Steelers game, not even all of them, you probably are 10-1 right now. That's, I mean, and we can't go back in the past, but the reality is their worst game was the Raiders game, and even that was 20-13.
Yeah.
So Hoyt, but you've been on Twitter, you know, you've been coming at people for coming at you, or not you, but coming at the Patriots about having an easy schedule. What is making you so upset?
Well, it's just like
share that stat you shared with us.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have that graphic. The thing that kills me, and maybe this is like a gambling thing, this is like a projection of wins type thing. Look, you can't control the schedule. What you do the year prior controls what your schedule is, right? And my biggest thing is you can only play the team in front of you. And that, like, when you and I were players and got the schedule, we didn't say, oh man, it's going to be an easy year this year. This is the NFL. There are no cupcake games. This isn't, as Bill used to put it, you're not playing Southwest, Arkansas, A&M State. Like, you don't get to sign up as an athletic director and be like, all right, let's get a few easy ones to kind of ease us into the year. Like when I was at Michigan State and you'd play Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green, these are NFL teams, and we've seen it all year where, you know, the Browns beat the Packers, and everyone at that time thought the Packers were the best team in the league. And so I just get frustrated because people want to downplay what they've done based on their strength of schedule. And if you want to pull that graphic up, Danny, that I shared with you.
Yeah, we got it.
Pull it up, Danny.
Oh, we're pulling it up.
All right, pull it up.
We got Super Bowl winners since 2018, I think.
And this is all you like. And look, the Patriots, we don't know what their future holds, but the reality is when you look at the last, since going back to our Super Bowl together in 2018, every team that's won the Super Bowl, they've had the majority of their games against teams that were below 500. So, like, strength of schedule is based on where you were coming into this year. It changes as the year goes on, and and
it changes, right? Because the division, like, we won't play the NFC South for another 4 years.
Exactly.
So that could be in the next 4 years. The NFC South could be the Bucs could be, you know, undefeated. The Falcons could have 1 loss, and the Saints could have, 3 losses, and the Panthers have 4.
Right.
Like, it just changes like that. It's what it is.
Like, to make the argument for argument's sake is like it has no, like, they have no control over who they play, and I think the way that they're approaching it is each game they're like, they asked Drake about it. after the Bucs game, he's like, man, I'm just focused on the Jets. I'm not worried about Josh Allen. I'm not worried about the Bills. Like, they're taking the right approach. We can all sit here and kind of discuss it and give our opinions on it. But the reality is you can only control what you can control. And this week, it happens to be the Cincinnati Bengals. So,
and look, the thing is, when you play teams in the NFL, like, each week, certain guys are going to be problems, right? Like, it might not be a good team. Like, let's take the Jets, for example. I feel like the Jets, my whole career, like when I first got in the league, it was Snacks Harrison, Muhammad Wilkerson, who's the big guy now with Seattle?
Oh, Leonard Williams.
Sheldon Richardson. They had like 4 or 5 like great D linemen, multiple guys that signed big contracts, and then it was like those guys kind of phased out, and it was like, all right, well, here's Quinnen Williams and all these guys, and it just like I always felt like Jets week sucked for me.
Yeah, because that was the strength of their team.
Yeah, and then it was like Mosley at the linebacker position, like.
And even though you would say every time we went into playing the Jets, we were the better team, there were certain things that if you didn't do right, they would beat you.
But like we would go play like, I don't know, like I'm trying to think, like maybe a good team like, let's say the Chiefs, like at 18, like they had Chris Jones. Chris Jones wasn't. I would say he was really good, but he wasn't elite. Like the nose was okay.
Yeah, you didn't feel as worried.
Yeah, like
it
was like it was like, all right, this isn't that terrible.
I think it's like, I guess my point is this isn't like the old BCS where you get extra points for beating a team with a better record.
No.
Like you just at the end. The record is what the record is with the teams that were on your schedule, and there's nothing you can do to control it. And ultimately, and Bill would always say this when he got to playoffs: did experience matter in the playoffs? No, execution mattered. And so far, the Patriots have executed to win 9 games, and people thought this was a rebuilding year. So
I mean, what was the Vegas over and all win total? Was it 9?
I think it was not. I think it was 8.5. So yeah, they would be 9 wins.
Yeah,
right.
They were favored in 11 games though preseason.
Right.
Last year, we were favored in 0.
Okay. So, I mean, look, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I think, though,
and I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. I'm sick of talking about it, to be honest with you. They're winning games.
Yep.
Why are we I don't know.
Well, it's Boston sports media. We need to talk about the negatives.
I guess
Felger,
I think I
Felger's
need to be more
complaining
negative.
that Vrabel's like giving props to the support staff on a short week. Like, there's no one better in the facility, especially in the Patriots facility, than Stick in the training room, Jim Whalen in the
you flip it, Stick in the
equipment room, Jim Whalen in the training room, Stacy, Aaron, Steph in the PR department, Ted, Sam in the meal room, and their whole crew, like
strength coaches.
And I think people don't realize, like, we have long hours. Those people's hours, so to be able to be ready for us, they sacrifice, I would say, even more of their time and effort. And so any chance that they get to be praised, they should be praised. So, like,
the reality is when we get home from a game at 4 a.m., what do you do at 4 a.m.? You go home.
I go home.
What does Jim Whalen do?
They have to go in the equipment room and unload the trucks, and his Mike Akimbola and those guys, like all of those guys. That is the lifeline. It's like that's like the heart of the organization, because they got to pump the blood to all the different areas, and so like to be giving them praise, they deserve it.
Nancy, shout out Miss Nancy, the ultimate Patriot.
Let me ask you something before we get out of here, though.
Yeah.
Expectations-wise, 9 wins against Vegas. Yes, that's a successful season for the Patriots. But now that we're here, we're a different team. What would you guys be disappointed with as a result? Is it we make the playoffs, we lose in the first round, okay, good season? Or what are we looking at, Super Bowl or bust here?
No, I don't think.
Can I just say this? There's nothing that I can be disappointed about going forward. I think they've hit where I thought they would be so much faster that anything here to me is a bonus. And I would say this.
So you're saying gravy, like at this point.
I'm saying with that being said, I think they're capable of going to the Super Bowl. I really do. This is not me being a homer. When I look around, not just because of the Patriots, but because what we just talked about, when you look around the league, there's not a team that I see that they can't beat.
I agree. I think for me, my expectations have changed of this football team. So I would say, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, like getting into the playoffs and losing, good year, like making the playoffs. I think now what I've seen from this team and the coaching staff, like, I expect a push in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that means it turns into a wild card and you win the wild card and lose the divisional, okay, that's a push. I think losing in the first round and I losing never makes you feel good. But, like, let's say they do go to Denver in the divisional round or something. I don't know how the playoffs shape out, right? And they go to Denver and lose 23-20. That's going to feel a lot different than going to Denver and losing 37-12.
I just, and that's the thing. I don't see this team losing like that. I just
agree.
don't. I just
agree.
don't see it.
I 100% agree.
So
But
I agree with you on that.
I think my expectations have changed. And like you said, like, them contending for a Super Bowl to me is not, like, if you told me that in August, I'd be like, hoy.
I know.
But, like, now saying that, like, I would be like, yeah, like, they have every right to contend for a Super Bowl way they've played.
I would say they've earned that, but from how they've performed.
Yeah.
It's not like, I don't think that anyone's going to say no. Like, I would say even, we've been covering them because we're considered like local media, but even the national media now has gotten on board with that being a possibility.
Yeah, I think you have to, right?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah. All right, producer Danny. I mean, you've been sitting there for 12 weeks. You think you can break down the show? You think you can just kind of let people know where they can find us?
I think I got this, Hoy.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to the Quick Snap Podcast. We are on NBC Sports Boston every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Tune into your television or go to our YouTube channel, NBC Sports Boston, or the Quick Snap. Check out the longer form episode, and we'll see you next week.
8 out of 10.
That's pretty good. I mean,
Your microphone sounds terrible.
Why don't you come fix it, David?
I don't know how to work
launch
that.
codes.
I couldn't even work my computer last
NASA
year.
over there.
That was a nightmare.
What?
All right.
I got my own computer now, boys. I'm grown up.
We're on to Cincinnati.
On
See
to
you next week.
Cincinnati. See you guys.